Hello, it's Shaka from Mind's Eye Status. Welcome to another podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very simple mindset hack that's going to make it effortless to meet new people. This is especially relevant to you if you find yourself overthinking or worrying about what other people think about you, especially when you're meeting them for the first time. Maybe you're at a networking event, maybe you're meeting your in-laws. I don't know why I always use that example, or just mutual friends. So if you find yourself overthinking, worried about judgment when you meet people, here's a mindset hack that has changed everything for me over the years. And it's so simple because most people, when they're meeting people for the first time, they're worried about how they're being perceived. They're wondering, am I going to be liked? Does this person like me? Do they approve of me? What I'm going to suggest is you flip that upside down. Start asking yourself, do I like this person? Now, you have to be very careful here because I'm not suggesting you go into a state of judgment and you're constantly judging and assessing people when you're meeting them, but simply noticing how you feel in your body, in your mind, emotionally, energetically when you meet somebody for the first time. That tells you a lot about the person, about their energy. And if you're going into an interaction or a networking event thinking about how you're being perceived, you're missing the total point of connecting with people because you're not really paying full attention to those you're interacting with, those that you're meeting. You're just worrying about yourself. And I speak about this a lot in my content. I mentioned that ego has a big role to play in social anxiety and overthinking. This is true even in work scenarios. If you're in a meeting and you're trying to look good, of course, common sense dictates that everybody wants to look good. But what I'm suggesting is if you shift your attention to pure awareness of other people without obsessing, and the way to distinguish whether you're obsessing or not is how attached are you to an outcome. So if you find yourself attached to the idea of being approved of, or somebody liking you, or people laughing at your jokes, then you're obsessing. But instead, if you're giving people your full attention, you're lighthearted, you're fun, you're friendly, you're charismatic, but the person that you're meeting for some reason is a bit dull, a bit dry, they don't laugh as much, they seem a bit stiff in their energy, then why are you so worried about them liking you in the first place? So switch that mindset from, I hope they like me, to, I wonder if I will like them. This is very useful even if you're dating, if you're not in a relationship or if you're not married, if you're in the dating arena at the moment, making that mindset shift will do wonders for you. So that's the first thing. And secondly, as you pay attention to how you feel energetically, you will notice that you will become more present to the moment. And a very strange phenomenon that many of my clients have experienced has been the following. They've told me after a few weeks of doing social confidence work together, grounded communication skills, I like to call it, they've come back to me and they've said, Shaka, something interesting is happening. I think people are getting nervous around me. I think people are getting intimidated by me. The funny thing about that is, first of all, they're noticing it, as in my clients. But secondly, they're not actually getting nervous because of you. They're not getting intimidated because of you. When you are deeply present and you're not worried about what other people think about you, what you will notice is how most people communicate. Most people are doing exactly that we're trying to avoid in this podcast. Most people are worried about how they're being perceived. Most people are worrying about their image. Most people are trying to prove themselves. And you will see that many people aren't socially confident, which is why I also say that it doesn't take much to be a great communicator. It really doesn't. If you're present to the moment, We talk about the 5 pillars of communication. I have another podcast on this. You can check it out. It's on my YouTube as well. But our clients go through the 5 pillars of communication. If you have a good handle, you don't need to master these skills, but if you have a good handle on the following: presence and energy, body language and tonality, reading social cues, building connections with people, and being confident and authentic. If you have a decent grasp on those 5 pillars, you are immediately going to stand out from 99% of the crowd. And you will come to see with your newfound awareness that most people are actually overthinkers. Most people have horrible body language. Most people are intimidated in social settings. And therefore, there's really no competition out there. It's very interesting. So for you, the listener, I would strongly encourage you, go out, meet people, get out of your head, give people your full undivided attention, and see how interesting they are. Balls in their court, especially if you're proactive and you introduce yourself for the first time and you're hearing about them, you're asking good open-ended questions, you're curious about them. You can figure out, how do I feel talking to this person? And when you communicate from this place, can you guess what happens? People are drawn to you because they can feel that you're actually paying them full attention. They can feel that you're not in your head. You're grounded, you're present, you're authentic. This is the way to be authentic. It's such a powerful place to be because let's say you're meeting some very interesting high status people. This is the way to do it, by the way. Most high status, sought after people are constantly getting sucked up. People are constantly praising them, over complimenting them, seeking their approval. So if you're approaching somebody, you're meeting them and you're not seeking approval because you're not checking to see if you're being liked, instead you're seeing who you like, this mental shift. Those high status people, they feel it. They feel that you don't need anything from them. And when you don't need anything from somebody, that means you're no longer needy. When you need approval, that makes you very needy. It gets you into a position, a social position, where you are at the effect, you're not at the cause. You want to be at the cause. This lowers your value. If you're walking through a room and you're at a networking event and you're worried about how you're being perceived, this lowers your value. Energetically, people can feel it. And we can switch that up. That's exactly what we do. So, moving forward, don't give those thoughts attention. I wonder if somebody likes me. Direct your attention towards people. Give them your full presence and attention. And ask yourself, how much do I like these people? Without judging them. Just pay attention to them. That's it. That's all you're doing. I hope you enjoyed this another nugget of a podcast. I like to keep them short and sweet. I'll be having guests on very, very soon. If you did enjoy this, please leave a like and 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify. It literally takes 10 seconds. Much appreciated. If you have a topic you want to hear about, I can answer your questions. Just DM me on Instagram, Shaku T. Lockman. And if you want to work together, there's a link in my bio on Instagram as well that you can check out. And it's below this video as well. We can talk about your communication skills. I will see you next week.